¿Qué pasó, güey? It's your homeboy Quetzalcoatl, hitting you up with another video. Today's episode is going to be about all these boxers who have been getting caught using PEDs. I'm going to be talking about the PED culture, epidemic, zombie virus shit that is going on right now in boxing. Alright, so it was reported last week that Lucian Bute tested positive for Ostarine after his fight versus Badu Jack that ended in a draw. I'm a fan of Lucian Bute, so it's kind of sad to hear that he's been cheating and using some shit. I was actually rooting for him to come back after that beating Carl Froch gave him. Now, I haven't really heard any statements from Lucian Bute as to why this would be in his system. But if he's anything like these other fighters who have been getting caught cheating, he's probably going to say some way out shit. And some of these fighters who have been getting caught, their excuses as to why they tested positive, some of those excuses seem plausible. Like, hey, maybe it's possible that this is why you tested positive. But at the end of the day, boxing is what the fuck you do for a living. So you need to make sure that this shit doesn't wind up in your system. So you are to blame no matter what. And prior to Lucian Bute getting caught cheating, another fighter who has a big fight coming up in Francisco Vargas had tested positive for clenbuterol as he was preparing for his fight versus Orlando Salido. Now, Francisco Vargas' excuse as to why he got this positive result is that he ate meat that was tainted with clenbuterol while he was in Mexico. And like I said, some of these excuses that these fighters use as to why they're caught cheating do seem plausible. Now, is it true that meat in Mexico is tainted with that shit? Yes, it's true. But motherfuckers always come up with excuses when they get caught taking some shit that they shouldn't be taking. And let's just say, like, all right, let's say it is true. Let's say he did eat some shit that was tainted and that's why he got a positive test. Like I said, boxing is what you do for a living. So you need to make sure that this shit doesn't get in your system. Your promoter needs to be looking out for you. Oscar De La Hoya should have brought your ass over here to the US, had you train over here, make sure this type of shit doesn't happen. So whether or not you ate some tainted meat, like, you're 100% to blame for you testing positive. There's no excuse. And another fighter who has been caught cheating is Alexander Povetkin. Now, Alexander Povetkin tested positive for meldonium as he was preparing for his fight against Deontay Wilder. Meldonium is something that was recently banned, and he tried to use this as an excuse. How motherfucking convenient. He tried to say that he took it prior to when it was banned, that he took it before January. And it's just like, come on, man. And what's crazy is that he's not the only one that was coming up with excuses. You got fans here in the YTBC that was trying to come up with some dumb shit as to how he tested positive. And making up excuses and just some of the most stupid shit that doesn't even have anything to do with this motherfucker testing positive. Motherfuckers was blaming the economy and talking about this motherfucker starving. Just some of the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life, man. And another excuse that they said was, wait for the B sample. Wait for the B sample. And I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'll give this motherfucker the benefit of the doubt. Then the B sample come up. This motherfucker's still dirty. And instead of just saying, yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. He cheated. They still running with this dumb shit. And there's always an excuse. When Lamont Peterson got caught not too long ago, he tried to say that the doctor gave him the shit. I believe he tested positive for high levels of testosterone. And after he tested positive, he did provide paperwork that said, that the doctor prescribed him this shit for medical reasons. But before he tested positive, he made no mention of this to the testing agencies. He didn't tell them shit about him taking testosterone. So that just seems very shady. how all of a sudden there's paperwork that you got after you get caught, but you don't tell these motherfuckers that you taking this shit beforehand. Now, the only fighter that I didn't really hear coming up with any excuses when they got caught was Andre Berto. And that's because Andre Berto really didn't have any excuses, because he took some old ass motherfucking steroids. I remember when Jim Lampley was talking about him testing positive, he described the shit as being grossly outdated. And I was like, the way he said it, I was busting up, man. But yeah, I mean, Andre Berto really didn't have nothing to say, because he took some old ass motherfucking steroids, man. He took some shit that fucking Fred Flintstone was taking back in the day. So I'm just waiting to see what kind of excuses Lucien Bute is going to be coming up with as to why he tested positive. And he might come up with some way out shit. That motherfucker might be like, Bill Cosby put that shit in my drink. And this shit needs to stop. I think that they need to come up with some heavy punishments for motherfuckers using PEDs. In my last video, I told you guys about Pritchard Colon still being in a coma 7 months after his fight. And that was a clean fight. There were no steroids in that fight. And look what the results were. And here you got motherfuckers cheating, putting other people's lives in danger. There need to be heavy punishments for motherfuckers using PEDs. I think that a proper punishment for like a first-time offender should be like a 5-year ban. Boxers have relatively short careers, so 5 years is a long-ass time to be punished. A second time getting caught, lifetime ban. But what are your thoughts on PEDs? And what do you think a proper punishment should be for someone who tests positive for them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And as always, if you like this shit, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is your homeboy Quetzalcoatl, signing the fuck on out.